Shout out to J&J.
So I just want to send a shout out to J&J Sports for having me once again.
This is, episodes, man. You guys got a real good thing going on.
Uh, Recently, the Netflix quarterback has released with a season two, and we did you get a chance to watch
I
episode
seen
one?
some of that. I seen some of that. I seen the trailer, James. It looked really good. Like I seen Cousins kind of in effect doing his thing. I seen a lot of hits from him in Atlanta. But yeah, I watched some of it.
Yeah, it's episode one was pretty interesting. There were some new faces and someone who returned. We've got Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals and Jared Goff, Detroit Lions, Kirk
Uh,
Cousins from the Atlanta Falcons. And it kind of this first episode focuses a lot on Burrow's comeback and his high expectations for the season. And it also talks about Goff and how he's helped the Lions come back and made them into major contenders. And it also kind of covers Kirk Cousins, going out to Atlanta, And I'm curious, so which one are you most excited about to follow this season? Which storyline of these quarterbacks and why?
Man, at first I was gonna solely focus on Burrow, really, but I gotta get into Jared Goff, man. Did you see that little remark he made about Tom Brady? I think that one's gonna really stir up some things because I believe they showed a clip of Tom on the broadcasting talking about covering Goff, and they were telling him about what Tom was saying, and he was just like, "Oh, well, Tom's a retired player; his time's past." Kind of low key dissing Tom, but not. So I feel like that's going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one that I'm kind of most excited to follow is probably Goff. Because I like seeing the Lions have a resurgence here, and it wouldn't be horrible to see them win their first Super Bowl. And I don't think that the team has ever actually even played in a Super Bowl, so that makes it difficult.
We thought they were so close. I think the season before last, they were right there, James. But Goff, he couldn't deliver at the end. You know what I mean? He did so amazing, excellent. I covered him on while I was working on the radio, man. Just like watching him detail. And at the end, he couldn't finish. So you talking about time, man, you got to be able to finish like time too. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, because time is like the Michael Jordan of football. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see what he's saying, for sure.
And I was also kind of curious, looking at all of these different storylines. It was showing some off-field quirks and stuff for Joe Burrow specifically. They were kind of talking about how he enjoys fossils, and you know, would you be surprised to hear that Joe Burrow was interested in like, ancient fossils and dinosaur bones and things?
Nah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. He's probably into a lot of things, and that's great. I can't wait to see how he plays because, like I said, you still got your two-star receivers. I want to see what he can do. I want to see him at least in the Super Bowl game, like a Bengals and Lions, right? That's ideal. I feel like that'll be a great Super Bowl right there.
How have expectations for him changed considering in his second season he took Cincinnati to the Super Bowl?
It's definitely changed. It's definitely well, at least they know he can get them there. So they're probably like, okay, we know that you're a Super Bowl type of player team. We want to see you do it again, though. We want to see you, and I wish nothing but success for Joe Burrow, man. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks under Drew Brees that came out of LSU. Yeah, man. I can't wait to see. And LSU, he was a monster for sure.
It was also kind of going into Goff's journey going to the Lions in general. in the episode, he talks about how he felt completely blindsided by that trade when they traded him for Matthew Stafford to the Rams.
Right.
And he did say that the Lions really were welcoming as an organization and team, and that the fan base has been incredibly welcoming to him. And I mean, would you be surprised considering how well he's played that everyone's so happy?
But they're a team that probably they needed that help. So I'm pretty sure they probably was going to welcome anybody. But I'm happy that everything worked out for him and worked out just in his favor, and they welcomed him in like they did. You know what I mean? Because some teams could be fans could be very mean, So yeah.
Yeah, Dan Campbell was talking, saying, hey, we've got a quarterback, and that it's not easy to just find starting caliber quarterbacks, and they have one right here with Goff,
Yeah.
and talked about how he looked him, face to face and said, hey, you're our quarterback, and you're going to take us where we need to go.
That much confidence and belief, that's all you need, as far as your quarterback support system, is a head coach that really truly believes in you. And because the team's gonna follow you. And you have a big contract extension that we covered. So man, you gotta deliver, man. You have to.
And it also kind of goes into Kirk Cousins and how he was saying with the Vikings,
Yeah.
it was just going to be a year-to-year situation, whereas the Falcons gave him a 4-year contract. And looking back, it's so easy to say, but he was benched for Penix, I guess halfway through the season or something like that, or towards the end of the season.
Right. Yeah, man. I feel like they gave him that contract too early. You know what I mean? Because he's an older player, right? The only difference is between Goff and him, Kirk is an older player, which means it's a lot more challenges you have to deal with him. You know what I mean? So I definitely think they should have gave him at least a 2-year deal, 2 or 3 year deal to kind of see, because you don't want to invest too much.
Yeah, I'm wondering, should he have just stayed in Minnesota on the year-to-year
Yeah.
contract?
Honestly, James, when we covered the season one, it just seemed like Vikings fit him. Like that was his, how some teams, it just fits you. You at the older age of your career making this trade, I don't know, man. I don't know if they can make it stick.
And showing some of the quirks of Joe Burrow, he attempted to buy a Batmobile. I don't know if that's still in the works. I'm sure we're going to see about that throughout the Netflix season.
I think they
Then
showed
also him dyeing his hair bleached blonde. So what do you think about those things?
I feel like he was just doing things. Hopefully that blind stuff is out the way because that can be a distraction for sure. But still amazing quarterback, and I want to see the Batmobile. I hope that's still in play.
Yeah, it's funny because there were coaches saying that their sons had bleached their hair blonde after they saw the quarterback had did it. So,
Oh man, that just goes to show he's a major influence on the community.
and then they were showing Jared Goff, and he was actually really kind of opening up, talking about how emotional he felt with that whole trade with the Rams and the Lions.
Yeah.
So, for them to go and be so welcoming, how important is that for a player to feel truly valued by the team?
That's really important because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. NFL pulled a basketball move with that, kind of just letting him go like how they did. But sometimes, God put him in that situation, James, where it's like, hey man, I know you don't know what's going on right now, but this is where you need to be at. You know what I mean? And based off the season we covered, that the amazing season they had, he's meant to be there. I definitely think he's better there than the Rams.
I agree. And kind of looping back and talking about the Kirk Cousins situation, he was saying that he kind of felt misled by his team. And do you think that NFL teams should be more transparent with their players? And what I was also kind of wondering was, he's not a major star player. I mean, this was his third or fourth team, something like that.
Right.
So, those stars, they have a lot more bargaining power than someone like Kirk Cousins, regardless of the fact if he's starting caliber. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they don't do it right. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're gonna do it right. They added the guy from Michigan to come over there to be the quarter. I think me personally, he could have just started as a backup quarterback. Leave Kirk Cousins on there because he's the main factor. See if he can let them adapt to each other. So if you do make that trade, it's smooth. You know what I mean? Versus you just losing your quarterback. You know what I mean? So I don't think they just did things.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was also looking about how they kind of looked back with Burrow taking the Bengals to the Super Bowl. And can you see them returning anytime in the next few years?
Yes, I do. I can see it. I have faith. I have a lot of faith in him, and I have a lot of faith in that team. The only thing is, uh, the offensive line has to be strong, and then the defense has to really be in play. That's the only things I feel like is good. Because if you can beat the Chiefs and almost beat them twice, you can go back into for sure.
The Bengals, though, they have to try to get through the Ravens in order to go to the Super Bowl because
That's
they're in the same division.
the issue. And those two teams when they play, it's critical. But I can't wait to see them play.
Yeah, I'm also really looking forward to seeing Goff. I think out of all these quarterbacks, I'd say Goff probably has the best chance just on paper right now.
I I feel like he's going to be the most exciting story to watch because especially just based off his situation and we wasn't expecting much from him in the beginning, but now we're seeing like, hey, he's somebody we can't push in the blind. He's a player that can actually show up.
And the whole Cousins situation. I mean, I don't know if I know he was still under contract, but I don't know if they had ended up eventually just releasing him. But
I think he was still under contract. You guys, we'll definitely check that out to make sure. But yeah, I think he was still under contract, James. He was.
yeah, it's going to be interesting because I mean, we know that he gets benched. So, kind of looking forward to further episodes. How do you think they're going to show like how
Him,
he's affected by that?
they're definitely going to show. I hope they show just the aftermath of how he felt. I mean, when they sit down and ask him questions, I hope it's a question like, "Hey, man, how did you really feel about this trade?" You know what I mean? Like really, like that personal moment that we're looking for.
And, based on episode one, who do you think faces the most pressure and who would be most impacted by that kind of pressure?
Uh, Honestly, I'm gonna have to say out of all those three, I'm gonna have to say Cousins. I'm gonna have to stick with Cousins because, like I said, they took that trade and they're expecting you to deliver. So I feel like it's way more pressure, especially because Goff, he's still with the Lions. He's not trading teams. Kirk has to adapt to this Atlanta team. So I think he's under the most pressure right now.
And I was also just kind of curious, who, which position would you like Netflix to cover that we haven't seen yet? Because we've seen receiver and quarterback, so we're missing a bunch of.
I think they should get more into the defensive side of things, like cornerback, safety, kind of like William, just cornerback for sure. I'm gonna have to say cornerback will be the next one.
Yeah, I'd love to see a defensive end or like edge or linebacker, something like
Mm. Right. To see like what they go through. Because I know it's a lot of people say the defensive cornerback positions are way harder than the wide receivers, which I kind of agree. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of shifting. You have to be on point. You can't miss a step or.
Oh, of course, because the wide receivers, they know where they're going to be running to, and the quarterback knows where they're going to be, whereas they're just out there on their own and a lot of times with the
Right.
quarters.
Exactly. So that's very challenging, difficult because you have to know what the move he's gonna make before he makes it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I agree. And which offensive position do you think that we haven't seen yet?
Running back.
Running
Run-
back.
yes, absolutely. Because I feel like that'll bring more attention to the running back position. Because we covered this, James. We felt running backs don't get a lot of attention. You know what I mean? Well, with this Saquon deal, it's going to get more, but that show is stamping.
They need to follow Saquon. That'd be great. I'd watch that.
I
I'd
thought they,
also like to see an offensive line position too. That could be interesting.
yes, because they play a major fact in blocking, and running backs have probably mentioned them more than quarterbacks. Like, hey man, this offensive line, he's the reason why I'm so successful. He's the reason why, you know what I mean? So yeah.
And Netflix in general, they're trying to get sports broadcasting rights. So, how do you think that would change live sports?
I feel like it'll upgrade it. It'll change a lot of things. A lot of things will be upgraded that we had to catch up with. But no, yeah, I think it's great.
I agree. As long as they still have like, the nationally televised games on TV, then it's
Absolutely.
okay if Netflix also broadcasts.
But see, the next thing about Netflix, James, they have to get their buffering right. Because we got to watch the Canelo Alvarez and your boy fight on Netflix. So, which I don't feel like that was a good idea. I definitely think that type of fight should have been mainstream TV. Just me.
I'm kind of wondering what Netflix is going to do moving forward with their live events and live sporting events, because really they could do pretty much anything they want.
They can. The only thing is they got to understand, like, when you're streaming those type of things, billions of people are going to tune in at the same time. So it's like, how are they going to separate it? You know what I mean? How are they going to manage that? But yeah.
And so everybody just let us know what you think about that in the comments. And are you tuning into the Netflix documentaries, the Netflix shows, the sports stuff? And what do y'all think?
Absolutely. Keep us locked in.
And we've reached the
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. 3, 2, 1. But that's the end of our show today, you guys. Our virtual show, episode 115. We thank you guys for keep rocking with us, tuning in with us. Just blessed to have, to do this every week. James, how you feel?
Thank y'all so much for all the comments and likes. We definitely appreciate it, and the views. And if y'all want to see anything, y'all want us to cover any sports, any specific athletes, anything sports related or anything like that, just let us know.
Absolutely.
J&J Sports.
Coming to y'all live in 2025.